Oh, hello. Hi there. I am Jim. Welcome into Jim on Sports. Do we call it I kind of never left, although I kind of left. How are you? Thursday. Let's see. What was going on? Yeah, doing. We're doing it live, apparently. Um, all right there. And of course, uh, yes. Well aware. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yeah, that's something that I missed. Not gonna lie, I missed the interaction with my Houstonian, my Serb, my no Serb. Yeah, you're Serbian, right? They won on a 12-game losing streak after I got. Well, that's your own damn problem, sir. Here's the thing: when you buy one of those jerseys, it's gonna happen. Just gonna happen. Just happens. That's why I haven't bought a new jersey in. What was the last jersey I actually bought with my own money? Um, I want to say it was my Jason Pierre-Paul Giants jersey. Yep, I bought that one 2 weeks before he blew his hand apart. Timing, timing is everything, kids. Hope you're well. Um, it's a it's a Russell jersey from like the '90s. It's the black joint jersey with white outline. Okay, all right. I know those jerseys. The black home jersey. Okay, all right. Those are sharp jerseys. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't. I'm typically not like a as far as jerseys go, a black for black's sake kind of guy. Like if your team colors don't have black in them, don't have a black jersey, right? Makes sense. But there were some teams that actually did pull it off, and I thought granted, maybe a little biased, I thought the Mets pulled it off pretty darn well. So, um, there's Philip Barnard. Hello, sir. Cubs are doing well. Got to admit, like Chicago's kind of a fun place to be near right now. Um, being in South Bend, I'm not far from the Windy City. And when you got the Cubs and the White Sox both playing good baseball, it makes you go, hmm, yeah, I'm rooting for the wrong team. So, checking in from the hospital, getting a little unplanned for a few days. Okay, all right. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little something about me in hospitals. Um, I spent some time in the hospital about a month ago, 2 months ago. It's been 2 months ago. Uh, the like I think I'm moving too far ahead in the story, so I'm just gonna start at the beginning of the story. Um, yeah, Patrick Kane back with the Blackhawks. Come on, man, that's that's something. We'll get into that a little bit. Um, so like 2 months ago, sitting there watching TV. It's late one night. It's a Friday night, and I kind of started like feeling like just like a little little tightness here. And yes, this is a Knicks jersey, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm at least having some fun this summer. Um, Sitting watching TV late at night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I get up to go to bed, and like for like the last 15 minutes prior to that, I just kind of felt, kind of felt like a burp that just wouldn't come out, no matter how hard I pushed. So I go to bed thinking, you know what, this will pass, no big deal. Wake up, it's still there. It's still there. And so I pop a couple of Tums. And I think, probably just a little heartburn. The wife and I, we get cleaned up. We go get in the car. We're heading to a nearby butcher. Buy some meat. We like to stockpile meat. Me and the missus. Missus on sports, by the way, doing well. We're on the way. And keep in mind, we're picking up steaks, chicken, and been grilling a lot. Going to replenish the meat supply, and I have to call an audible because now, what started off as just kind of like this, kind of like a burp that wouldn't move, has now gradually over the course of the morning turned into pain in both of my shoulders and my chest feeling heavy. Awesome. Great. And I'm driving, by the way. Fortunately, we were at a point where I could kind of turn around and head back to the, towards the nearest hospital. But, yeah, it was bad enough to make me not continue with a trip to a butcher shop, to go buy meats. So it's like this is something, this is significant. And so I get checked in and do the whole battery of tests, when you walk up to a emergency room desk and go, I think I'm having a heart attack. Hook you up to the EKG, all that stuff. And I kind of started figuring that I wasn't having a heart attack because if I was, I don't think that they would have had me sit there for 2 hours in the waiting room. In a fairly empty, like we were maybe one of, me and the wife sitting there, we're maybe 2 of 6 people sitting in this waiting room. On the worst benches you have ever sat on, by the way. Like my ass still hurts from them. So my name gets called, we go back and, get hooked up to yet more machines. And, they give me, this little cocktail of drugs and whatnot. And it winds up basically being like some really bad acid reflux. Because when they give me a prescription for medication, and I go, wife goes and picks it up, and I take, the first pill, and within an hour, I'm feeling mostly better. Like I still feel a little bit here, but it's not in my shoulders, searing pain, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was my little wake up call. That was real fun. It really kind of kicked up the whole efforts to lose weight, and I had been looking, I had been trying to figure that out for a long time, and just nothing was happening and all that stuff. I was 330, 330 pounds when I went into the hospital. To date, I am now 312. That's 2 months, 9 pounds average a month. Not bad. My doctor put me on Zepbound for my sleep apnea and also to just kind of help me lose some weight because I like seriously like I'd go for walk, do exercise, all this stuff, eat right, and nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. Like I just stayed 330, and I wasn't happy at 330 either because clothes don't fit at 330. When you don't have the right size. Um, so yeah, that was me a couple of months ago. But yeah, 18 pounds down. It's obviously a marathon. Um, going from 330, my goal my goal is 225. That's going to take some work. And I also, was able to drill it into my head that hey, you don't lose 100 pounds just like that, unless you're like really sick. So there you go. That was my fun in the hospital. Um, in out same day. It was fun too because I was supposed to train somebody at work that day, and they wound up basically getting thrown into the fire really quick. So they're still employed by me too. Anyway, that was my excitement in the hospital. They did not make me walk around pantsless entirely. I was allowed to keep my boxers on, so because it was all here and not there. Always remember that. And then, like a month later, I got to have an endoscopy, which is just like a colonoscopy, which I've had way too many of. Um, but this time, they shoved the camera down your throat, and I still never really got a clear answer as to whether or not it's a different camera. Still never. Still haven't heard from that doctor yet either about what the heck's going on in my body. Um, I guess those tests take a while. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get into the sports of which I am apparently on. Uh, Jose Caballero is going around saying that Major League Baseball umpires are picking on him because of the bull crap that he does um, at the plate. When he's at bat. And do I have it here? No. Okay, not there. That. Hmm. Hmm. This. I wrote a post for the newsletter. By the way, newsletter. I have a newsletter now. Just go to jimonsports.com and sign up for that. I won't sell your email or anything like that because I'm not a dick. Um, you know, not that big of a dick anyway. What? Anyway. Hit the other button. Yeah, pretty much. Um, Now, there we go. Now I fit on screen. So Jose Caballero, this was this yesterday against the Pirates? He's at bat, and I saw that this. I think this was a couple of days ago, actually. Um, the thing that stands out to me is just how good the sound on all of this is. So I got to admit, I got to give the Yes Network their props on this. They just let it play out, which is exactly what you're supposed to do in these sorts of cases. But here's this at bat. I'm just gonna let it roll. Catchers is there. Come on. That clock was on 8, by the way. There's a coach getting tossed. James Rouston getting the heave. So, Jose Caballero has found a hole in the pitch clock strategy, and that was as long as if there's supposed to be sound on that video, got nothing. Hmm. Well, that's a damn shame, son. That's a damn shame. Let's see. Voice canceling not off. All right. Well, basically, if you didn't hear it, sorry. Um, I would have thought, doing things this way. You know what? Technology and me, not exactly, you know, the greatest thing ever anyway. Oh, thank you. So, Jose Caballero has found a hole in the strategy for the pitch clock. And basically, what it is that you've got until 8 seconds to, you know, jump in and out of the batter's box and all that stuff. But once you're under 8 seconds, that then it's just against the rules for batters. So the clock hits 8, and he does this thing where he's dancing in and out of the batter's box, and he got a pitch clock violation call against him because that's the rule. You can't jump out under 8 seconds. So, them saying it's at 9. No, it's not. But now he's making like this big crusade. Like yesterday after the game, he was, Major League Baseball is picking on me. Umpires are picking on me. And it's like, no, dude, play by the rules. That's all you got to do. You're there. You're in the batter's box to begin with, to bat, to swing the bat, or not swing the bat, whatever. None of this dancing around shit. Okay. I'm so like. These are the types of things that kind of run that parallel of why we got the pitch clock. All right, like the pitchers were doing all of this weird shit, and you'd have like 2 minutes between pitches sometimes, and that's what the pitch clock got rid of. And then he finds the loophole, which again, strategy, okay. But if you're gonna cut it that close, expect to get a pitch clock violation every so often. It's not picking on you. Just deal with it, man. Just one host in New York, I think it's Evan Roberts, who's already like, call up Lombard! I'm done with Caballero! So, yeah, it's just... It's annoying more than just the pitchers now. All right? When the umpires start doing this stuff, and when your own team's announcers can't really defend you, come on, man. Where is Anthony Joshua when we need him? Like for real, like where is Anthony Joshua when we need him most? Because I'm just done with what Jake Paul said. Like Jake Paul. Jake Paul went in an interview with Front Office Sports, saying that there's a lot of super mediocrity in the NFL, and that he's talked to a couple NFL teams and coaches who are interested in bringing him onto their roster as like a wide receiver or something. Jake. Even with the shape that you're in, which is, admittedly, a hell of a lot better shape than I'm in. Even with the shape you're in, nobody's signing a 29-year-old wide receiver. Don't care who you are. And if there's a coach giving you that line, that's a terrible coach. All right? That is let's pick a terrible team here. That's the Tennessee Titans telling you that you could be a wide receiver for them. Guess what, Jake? They say that to 8-year-olds. To current 8-year-olds. That dude would get lit up. All right, you thought Anthony Joshua, sending his jaw into the next stratosphere was something. This dude, Jake Paul, would be immediately concussed in the NFL. Immediately concussed. Because sure, getting hit by an opposing cornerback, sure. But that's also a football player who has worked his ass off to get to the spot that he's at. And here comes Chuckles the Clown off the fucking street. And so, there's a lot of super mediocrity in the NFL. Kiss this. Here's your super mediocrity. Crack! You know. Sucks that the crack block is been banned. But yeah, that's like, why are we? Why is front office sports putting a microphone in his face anyway? Like, you just go do your thing on your corner of the internet where you talk to underage kids and tell young men that that they're an alpha and all that stuff, and they don't need to respect women or anything like that, or whatever the fuck it is that he does. And just leave the professional sports to the professionals. All right? He was, like, in the same interview, he's saying, going on about his accomplishments in sports and how, you could look at it as someone making a mockery and boxing Mike Tyson and, all these guys who are well past their prime. Or you could commend how I brought in huge numbers to Netflix, like the biggest numbers they've ever seen. And it's like, that doesn't mean what you're doing isn't shit. Like, the reason everybody tuned into that Tyson fight is because we all wanted to see Mike Tyson, for just 5 seconds, be 25 years old again and in his prime. And absolutely murder Jake Paul in the ring. That's it. That's all anybody tuned into that fight for. Same thing with Anthony Joshua. The fact that you made it 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua, like he was toying with you, basically. All right? First of all, that's a dude that you went out and pissed off greatly. So yeah, he's going to bat you around like you're, he's a cat and you're just a little mouse in a field, and just smacking you around. And then he rearranged your face. He put you in the goddamn hospital. He rearranged your face so badly. So just leave it to the pros, man. All right? All right. Pete Golding might be my favorite college football coach outside of South Bend. Like, seriously, man. First of all, did an incredible job keeping Ole Miss competitive in the college football playoff last year after Lane Kiffin left for LSU. The Rebels beat Tulane. They beat Georgia. They finished number 3 in the AP Top 25. Did it all by channeling all of the LSU hate in the universe at that time. All of the Lane Kiffin hate that you could have imagined. All of it went into keeping that roster together. And I'm not going to lie. It's exactly what I would have done. It's exactly what I would have done. You don't want to hitch up with this. Like, look at what they're doing. According to ESPN's David Hale, who we don't know if he's still employed by ESPN, to be perfectly honest, here's what Golding told his playmakers this offseason, specifically Trinidad Chambliss and Lacey. All right. Kewan Lacey. There we go. I knew it'd come to me. Football's gonna end. All right, quote. Football's gonna end. What are you going to use? You got to use an alumni base to be able to get you a job. Where are you going to bring your kids to? What jersey are they wearing? Y'all created a legacy in one season that's going to be hard for anybody to overtake. And for what's going on now, for Coach Kiffin to leave, go Google Lane Kiffin. I had them both do it in my office. Google Lane Kiffin. The dude they'd have built a statue of here 3 days ago. Google his name right now. They wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. They'll do the same thing to y'all, too, if you leave. But if you come out and say, I'm going to continue to build on the legacy I've created, what that's going to do for you and this fan base and the alumni for the rest of your life, I don't give a fuck where you go or what they pay you. You'll never amount to that much. That's, not gonna lie, a compelling argument right there. Now, in these NIL-laden times, I'm sure Mississippi opened up its pocketbook for those two guys, all right? Could have fetched deals in the seven figures, all right, had they left. Easily could have fetched seven-figure deals. But, you know, I mean, Lane Kiffin immediately went from savior to villain, like, hated villain. Immediately. I'm not gonna lie, that part was impressive, Lane. That part was impressive. Because he was leaving in the middle of one of the best seasons in school history with the playoffs on the horizon. Playoffs? He was leaving for a longtime rival in LSU. And he was leaving with the opportunity to take a significant chunk of Ole Miss's players. Like, I remember it was the year that Notre Dame went to the Sun Bowl and played Oregon State. Like, that wasn't all that long ago, actually. And, you know, like, Notre Dame had some guys leave. Audric Estime was leaving. He didn't play in that game. Sam Hartman was leaving. He didn't play in that game. You know. And all of Oregon State was gone. Like, seriously, like I'm amazed that Oregon State even fielded a team that day because everybody transferred out of that place. Because Jonathan Smith, who was the coach at the time, went to Michigan State. And it's like that could have happened to Ole Miss really, really easily. Really easily. Like they wouldn't have like not even gotten on the play. Like, they probably would have still had their uniforms from their last game still on. That, you know, they've checked out that quickly. So the fact that Pete Golding kept that many guys in Ole Miss at that time, when, you know, I mean, hell, like, all the coaches were scheduled to leave after the playoff, except for Lane Kiffin, who was just shown the door immediately because he was leaving for a rival. Like, to use that hate to keep your two best players and pretty much the leaders of your team from joining their coach, who they had a lot of success with, for him to do that, and also, you know, keep them this year. Although, is Chambliss playing? Can't remember. I can't remember how that court case resolved itself, quite honestly. But the fact that they won 2 games and were pretty damn competitive in the third, like, Pete Golding's just the fucking man. All right, like he like that. Like watching that guy in a press conference was a joy. Was a joy last year. I need to go back and watch the SEC media days. That's where he told this story, and like I just got to hear him say this stuff. He's like one of my faves right now. One of my favorites. Let's see. Not even 24 hours into NFL training camp, but we've already got some serious injury news. The first of the big injury news anyway. Tyreek Hill, who got hurt last season, dislocated his kneecap, tore a bunch of ligaments. We all thought that he broke his damn leg. Just grisly injury. 10 months out. 10 months post-surgery to fix his leg, basically. Still saying that he has no power in his leg. 10 months out. Like, that is significant. And he's saying, that he's going to be fine. He's not going to put a timetable on anything, but he's going to be fine. And I'm like, if I'm the Dolphins, if I'm Tyreek Hill, do I even attempt to come back this year? Like, is anybody going to take that chance on me? Damaged multiple ligaments in his left knee, including his ACL. Last month, began to post videos on his YouTube channel as part of a mini documentary series called Cheetah Reborn. First two videos were short videos showing footage from various stages of his recovery over the past 10 months. The third episode, which posted yesterday, is a 5-minute video that shows where Hill is in his recovery and provides some commentary. He said, they told me I may not be able to walk again. The doctors are like, bro, we don't know what's going to happen with your future. And now look at me. Which, very much so, yeah. Like the way it looked anyway. According to his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who, wouldn't fib about anything. No nerve damage, no blood flow issues, no broken bones. The cartilage is fine. The goal is for him to be ready to play next season. It's only one surgical procedure. There was some concern that it might be more than one surgery. But right now, everything went as well as we could have hoped for. This was back when he had the surgery 10 months ago. In Wednesday's video, Hill said that he's had 2 surgeries over the last 10 months, including an LCL surgery in February. He was explaining an exercise he was doing called wall push-offs. Where I'm at right now, I'm doing tempo. I'm not supposed to be doing tempo runs, so don't tell my rehab. Why are you videoing it? But I like to challenge myself a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to do some push-offs with my left leg. My left leg is the one that I injured. I have no power in my left leg at all, so I'm trying to regain all of the power back in my left leg. I've been activating the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. I've been doing all the stability work, all of the mobility work that I need to get my knee back right, but it's one day at a time. And 10 months out, we still have no power. Who's going to sign you, man? He's a free agent right now. He was a 5th rounder with the Chiefs in 2016. Spent his first 6 seasons in Kansas City. 3-time first-team All-Pro. Helped the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl title of the Patty Mahomes era. Then was traded to the Dolphins after the 2021 season for a bunch of draft picks. Produced at a high level still. Led the league in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. That was in 2023. Selected to 8 consecutive Pro Bowls from 2016 through 2023. Plenty of off-field issues as well. In college, pled guilty to domestic assault by battery by strangulation. He's been investigated multiple times by the NFL for assault allegations. Was famously detained in 2024 outside of Hard Rock Stadium ahead of the Dolphins season opener. Then went on to catch 7 passes for 130 yards, including an 80-yard touchdown. But I digress. Still no power in that leg. So, are we sure? Are we sure there weren't any other major? I know a bunch. Multiple ligaments damaged. I get it. I know. And I've never had knee surgery, and I hope I never do. Like my brother has had knee surgery. He blew out his ACL when he was younger, uh, and that looked like hell. That rehab, and I'm pretty sure it took him like a solid 18 months to even feel close to normal. Um, Still no power. In your leg. That's kind of a problem. Kind of a problem. And then this kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I liked Nick Scorton when he was at Purdue. Hell of a good football player. Um, Second year outside linebacker with the Carolina Panthers. He was carted to the locker room with a right knee injury today. First day of practice. He's getting imaging to determine the severity. But when practice stops and everyone around you immediately hits their knees and starts praying for you, oof, that ain't good. That ain't good. That stinks. I feel bad for Nick Scorton. Like I said, hell of a college. Started off at Purdue. Um, I remember he went to Texas A&M, played against Notre Dame. Not last year, a year before though. The game in College Station was had his name called a lot that night. Um, just an absolute force in college, and was really trending upwards on Carolina as well. One of their good young defensive stars, and yeah, that's just awful. I hate seeing that for guys. Especially guys who they're working hard. They keep their nose clean, all that stuff, and hate. Uh, Fernando Mendoza has signed his rookie contract with the Las Vegas Raiders. He and the team announced today. He was the last of the team's top draft picks, 10 draft picks actually, to sign. Uh, their fourth round pick, cornerback Jermon McCoy, inked his rookie deal yesterday. 57,271,500 over 4 years. Not bad. Not bad. Team option available for a fifth season. Schedule of his payments, $38.1 million signing bonus. Not bad either. Those are all negotiable. He's the penultimate rookie, the penultimate first rounder to sign his rookie deal. Rams quarterback Ty Simpson has yet to officially sign. Raiders rookies reported to camp today. Veterans are set to join them on Tuesday. Mendoza will be starting the season in the backup role behind Kirk Cousins. I give that 4 games, regardless of how Kirk Cousins is doing, quite honestly. Regardless. Maybe 5 games. But I've got that over under at 5.5. So before we see Fernando Mendoza starting, getting, you know, Cousins getting pulled in the middle of a game, even. What if that hits it right at 5.5? Like, do they count that first half? As of like the 6th game that he would start, but pulling him at half. Like, does that count as 5.5? I would count that as 5.5. But then again, I'm not Vegas. I'm not. I'm not trying to rip people off so blatantly. So, anyway, is anybody still looking for Fernando Mendoza and just go, for a team that with the history of the Raiders, like that just seems like it's not going to fit. I think it's going to be fine. I think it'll be fine. I'm not going to say whether or not he's going to be like a Hall of Famer. Um, but look at what happens when you coach the kid. Won the Heisman Trophy. He was at Cal. He was at a Pac-12 school, Pac-12/ACC school, which however that timeline worked itself out. He was in a power conference, man, and Cal couldn't do a damn thing. Goes to IU, gets with Curt Cignetti, and wins a national championship and the Heisman Trophy. Like, I got a feeling this is going to work out pretty well for old Fernando. 35 actually. 3,535 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Also rushed for 7 touchdowns, too. So he can move a little bit. You saw that on that rushing touchdown that he made in the national championship game, too. That was a hell of a run. Anyway, congrats to him. And finally, not at all what I meant it to be. Here's what it should have been. Ready? Patrick Kane, 2 years, $8 million AAV deal with the Chicago Blackhawks, returning to the he's played for the Red Wings the last couple of seasons, and they also Blackhawks also traded him to the Rangers there too. Have we ever really pictured him though outside of a Blackhawks jersey? The only time I really remember him in a Red Wings jersey, and this is not to say that he's been ineffective or anything with the Red Wings, but the only time that I picture him in a Red Wings jersey is when he's scoring the overtime winner in his first game back to Chicago since leaving the Blackhawks. That was a hell of a... just go look that up. Connecting the past with the future, basically, in Chicago is what they're doing right now. Could very well be skating alongside Connor Bedard, who signed a big fat extension of his own in the last couple of weeks. Turns 38 in November. He's the last active NHLer among the 7 players who won 3 Stanley Cup titles with the Blackhawks. Jonathan Toews recently announced his retirement after playing last season with the Winnipeg Jets. That said, 38 and still putting up some solid numbers. 57 goals, 163 points in 189 games with the Red Wings. Would easily be the best line mate that Bedard has had since being drafted into the NHL. Apologies, Philip Gershev, Nick Foligno, Ryan Donato, Andre Burakovsky. Apologies, but Showtime. And look at that power play, too. Bedard, Kane, and Bowen Byram on your power play. That is... As long as Bedard needs to put on a little bit of weight and a little bit of muscle, but also just get bigger. Um, like he still kind of looks like a kid skating around out there, and him getting bigger will hopefully come in time. Um, but having a guy with that kind of experience playing next to you, and also able to contribute that much still, like that I think is like there were some people in Chicago who were like, "We've already done this before," and it's like, what else are you gonna do? Like you're not rooting for him to come home at all. Get out of here. Like there is nothing more that Blackhawks fans have wanted since since I think Patrick Kane left Chicago than for him to return to Chicago. And it's not like he really left. Like he's kept his home there. Uh, in the off season, he trains at the Blackhawks Performance Center. There was like a mini camp not all that long ago, and his number 88 Red Wings jersey was hanging in the Blackhawks locker room next to Blackhawks rookies. It's like, all right, he's still there. He's still available. I think it'll work out pretty well. So, and I was hoping that it wasn't going to wind up like Chris Chelios as well. Where Chris Chelios um, kind of became a journeyman at the end there. Like, but went from Chicago to Detroit to the Red Wings. Won a bunch of cups. Not sure, but maybe he could have won them in Chicago. Although different regime running things at that time. I think this regime, gets the history still. Like it's not exactly the a sterling silver history through that time. There are some terrible things that happened during that time, but um, watching that team play, that was a modern day dynasty. It's rare to see what the Dodgers are doing going back to back. All right, the Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups in what was it? How many years? 3 and 5, 3 and 6. Like that's a dynasty now. With the way free agency is, with the way salaries are, with the way the financials of everything are, that's a dynasty. And how do you not bring back one of the central pieces to that dynasty? Especially when he's still competitive and he's still contributing. Like he was great for those Red Wing teams. Like teams that, man, I don't know what the hell would happen to that team when we'd get into the last month and a half of the year. The fact that the Red Wings haven't been in the playoffs in 10 years. And now you're probably taking 50 goals away when you lose Kane and you lose Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin, of course, requesting the trade earlier this summer, which was probably the last straw for Stevie Y as the GM. The last straw for the Iser plan. Um, but yeah, Larkin's not going to. I doubt that they keep Larkin at that point. Um, what do you get for him? Like who I'll be a free agent after this coming season, I believe. And still, in his prime. But I, I'm not sure if he wants to play again with Detroit, considering how poorly he feels he's been treated by the front office there. Now they get in a new general manager and they can work something out. Who knows? Uh, that seems to be the best hope, I think, for Red Wings fans at this point, because that team is going to be struggling again. It's never good when your top two scorers leave, and one of them wants out because of being disrespected by his front office, by his general manager. Like that's not good. That's not good for trying to bring in guys who would want to play there. That's not good for bringing in free agents. You hear what they do in Detroit? What they did to Larkin, man. Players talk. Anyway, um, if you tuned in late, if you're just tuning in now, what the hell's wrong with you? Just admonish people. Um, this will be up soon. This will be up quite shortly. Um, probably be back on again tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do Fridays. Fridays right now we're fine. Right now we're good on Fridays. Um, but once football season starts up in a month, maybe a little hit or miss. It may be a little bit later than this, etc., etc., etc. So, work, all that stuff. Um, we've dealt with it before, kids. We'll deal with it again. Um, Next week, as far as being live at the same time, I don't know about that yet. I've got a couple of doctor's appointments early in the week, and they're both in the afternoon. Which, good time to bring this back. Um, but I'll have something for you there. Clips, all that stuff. JimOnSports.com. Sign up for the newsletter. I've been posting there, posting something at least there every day this week. Yeah, check it out. Like I said, I won't sell your email. I'm not a dick. Anyway, see you again tomorrow, and thank you.